You take one step into the water, then another. The surface looks calm. Nothing moves. Nothing makes a sound. And then something beneath you opens its mouth. A mouth wider than your entire body. You never see the attack coming. Because the creature hunting you isn't a dinosaur. In fact, some of the most terrifying animals in Earth's history weren't dinosaurs at all. They were bigger, stronger, stranger, and in some cases, far more deadly. A giant snake capable of swallowing crocodiles. A living buzzsaw with rotating teeth. An armored sea monster that could crush bone like paper. Predators so bizarre that scientists spent decades trying to understand how they even worked. These creatures weren't myths. They were real. And the deeper researchers dig into the fossil record, the more unsettling the prehistoric world becomes. Most people imagine ancient Earth as a planet ruled entirely by dinosaurs. But the truth is far more disturbing. Dinosaurs were only one chapter in a much larger story. Before them, after them, and sometimes alongside them, existed creatures that pushed evolution to its absolute limits. One of the earliest was Dunkleosteus. Nearly 370 million years ago, long before the first dinosaur appeared, this armored predator ruled the oceans. At first glance, it looked like a giant fish wrapped in medieval armor. But its true weapon was hidden inside its jaws. Unlike modern predators, Dunkleosteus didn't rely on sharp teeth. Instead, it possessed massive, bony blades capable of generating extraordinary bite force. Scientists estimate it could crush prey with thousands of pounds of pressure, making it one of the most powerful biters ever discovered. Imagine swimming in those waters. No boats, no rescue, no warning, just a shadow moving beneath you. And then impact. Yet even Dunkleosteus would eventually disappear. Because prehistoric Earth never stopped creating new monsters. Hundreds of millions of years later came one of the strangest predators ever discovered, Helicoprion. For more than a century, paleontologists argued over its fossil remains. The reason was simple. Nobody could figure out where its teeth belonged. The fossils revealed a giant spiral of razor-sharp teeth unlike anything seen before. Some scientists believed the structure sat on the animal's nose. Others imagined it hanging from its throat. Then modern scans finally solved the mystery. The spiral was actually embedded inside the lower jaw. Every bite functioned like a rotating circular saw. Imagine evolution creating a living weapon that looked more like industrial machinery than a fish. And suddenly the oceans become even more frightening. Because creatures like Helicoprion remind us that ancient Earth wasn't simply larger than today. It was stranger, far stranger. But if the oceans were terrifying, the land wasn't much safer. After the extinction of the dinosaurs, a new predator rose to dominance in South America. Not a mammal, not a reptile, a bird. Scientists call them forest wrasses. Most people know them as terror birds. Standing up to 10 feet tall, these giant flightless hunters ruled for millions of years. Their powerful legs allowed them to run at incredible speeds. Their hooked beaks functioned like weapons capable of delivering devastating strikes. Imagine hearing footsteps behind you. You turn around expecting a wolf. Instead, you find yourself staring at a bird taller than you. A bird designed to hunt. A bird capable of reaching you long before you could escape. For 60 million years, these predators proved that the disappearance of dinosaurs did not make Earth safer. It merely changed the shape of fear. And then came Titanoboa, the largest snake ever discovered. When researchers uncovered its fossils in Colombia, the dimensions seemed almost impossible. More than 40 feet long, over a ton in weight, longer than a school bus, heavier than a small car. Titanoboa lived shortly after the extinction of the dinosaurs in vast tropical wetlands where temperatures were significantly warmer than today. Unlike movie monsters, it didn't need to chase prey. It waited, silent, hidden beneath dark water, then exploded into action with overwhelming force. Scientists believe it preyed upon giant reptiles and crocodilian relatives. And the most unsettling part is how little warning its victims would have received. 1 second, everything appeared calm. The next second, survival became impossible. But perhaps no predator better demonstrates the scale of prehistoric life than Mosasaurus. This giant marine reptile dominated the oceans during the final age of the dinosaurs. Growing longer than a city bus and weighing several tons, it occupied the highest level of the marine food chain. Everything was prey: fish, turtles, birds, other marine reptiles, even members of its own species. Fossils reveal evidence of violent battles between giant mosasaurs, suggesting that even apex predators lived under constant threat. Imagine standing on an ancient shoreline and watching something that size emerge from the sea. The water itself would seem alive. And that wasn't the only giant lurking in prehistoric ecosystems. Helicoprion, the largest sea scorpion ever discovered, reached lengths exceeding 8 feet. Its massive claws and armored body transformed it into one of the most formidable arthropods in Earth's history. Then there was Andrewsarchus, a giant carnivorous mammal known primarily from an enormous skull. Scientists continue debating exactly how it lived, hunted, and behaved. And perhaps that uncertainty makes it even more frightening, because sometimes the unknown is scarier than the known. But prehistoric Earth wasn't only home to giant predators. It was home to giant everything. Arthropleura, the largest land invertebrate ever discovered, stretched nearly 9 feet long. Imagine a giant millipede moving silently through ancient forests. Not hunting, not attacking, simply existing. And somehow that image alone feels unsettling. The reason these creatures continue to fascinate us may be deeply connected to human psychology. Long before civilization existed, our ancestors evolved in landscapes filled with predators. Large shapes, sudden movement, hidden danger. Modern neuroscience suggests the human brain reacts to potential threats before conscious thought fully processes them. Fear often arrives before understanding. Perhaps that is why prehistoric monsters feel so compelling. They activate ancient survival instincts buried deep inside us. The giant snake, the giant predator, the unseen movement beneath dark water. These fears are older than language itself. And yet, despite all their power, all their size, and all their dominance, every one of these creatures vanished. Titanoboa disappeared. Mosasaurus disappeared. Dunkleosteus disappeared. The terror birds disappeared. Entire dynasties of predators ruled the earth for millions of years before becoming fossils. Some were destroyed by changing climates, others by mass extinctions. Others simply lost their place in a constantly changing world. The lesson hidden within their disappearance is both humbling and haunting. No creature was too powerful. No predator was too successful. No giant was too dominant. Given enough time, even the rulers of the earth became fragments buried beneath stone. A tooth, a claw, a vertebra, a skull waiting to be discovered. And perhaps that is the most extraordinary part of all. Not that these creatures existed, but that they are gone. Because if even a handful of them still walk the earth today, the world would feel very different. The oceans would feel different. The forests would feel different. Even standing near a river would feel different. The prehistoric world was not simply bigger than ours. It was wilder, more dangerous, more unpredictable. A world where survival was never guaranteed. And every new fossil discovery reveals the same unsettling truth. The dinosaurs were incredible, but in many corners of ancient Earth, they weren't even the scariest things alive.